video, I'm actually going to be reading a story that all day yesterday was sent to me by you guys, which is so crazy to me because this is a new story that just surfaced and the title looks absolutely chilling. So I figured rather than reading it on my own time in my own house, just doing my own thing, that I would come on here and read it with you guys. The title of this story is 2 years ago, my sister went missing. Today, I found her diary. And that just gives me chills because you know that there's going to be something in that diary that is going to have, well, probably will have some sort of indication as to where she went. So that is what we are going to be reading today. Make sure to, at any point throughout this video, drop some comments down below and let me know your guys' theories. But without further ado, let's just get right into it. 2 years ago, my sister went missing. Today, I found her diary. My sister was a good person. I know everyone says that about the people they've lost, and I'm sure I've purposely forgotten a lot of the arguments and frustrations over the past few years. But I mean it when I say I never trusted anyone the way I trusted Leah. When I flunked my first class in 4th grade, I went to her for advice. When I realized I was bi, she was the first person I told. She encouraged all my dreams, whether they were the crazy ones of becoming a rock star or the more normal ones of becoming a mother. She went missing at 22 just after she graduated college, before she could even begin to think of job hunting. We all searched frantically, of course, but no sign of her ever turned up. After a while, I noticed the officers and investigators referring to Leah in the past tense instead of the present tense. And then I noticed my parents doing it too. I was 19, barely clinging to a major that I didn't want, and after she vanished, I just dropped it completely. What was the point of wasting my life doing something I hated if I could just disappear tomorrow? I started busking on the street, barely making enough money, that and odd jobs, to afford a terrible apartment. My parents didn't approve, and this time there was no Leah to mediate and hold us together. We actually didn't even start talking again until a few months ago. They apologized, I apologized, and after a bit of hesitant communication, they asked me to come home and visit. Which was how I arrived in my childhood home for the first time since Leah disappeared. There had still been no sign of her over the years, in case you were wondering. No sort of closure. Like the officers and my parents, I'd begun thinking of my determined, wonderful older sister in the past tense. I guess she could still be alive out there, technically. Anything is possible. But everything in me tells me that she is not. I avoided her room for the first few days. I was afraid of what I'd find in there. Would it hurt more if my parents kept it exactly the same, or if they turned it into something else? I didn't know, and I didn't want to ask. We didn't even talk about Leah. Last night, I couldn't sleep. Leah's room was right next to mine. Have you ever experienced silence so profound that it seemed so loud? The silence from Leah's room drilled into my ears until my head ached. Finally, I stood up. This wasn't going to go away if I ignored it. As it turned out, neither of my fears were quite right. The room wasn't exactly as Leah had left it. Mom and Dad used it for storage, apparently. There were boxes stacked up on the floor and an old sewing machine in one corner. But Leah's bed still sat against the wall. Her desk still sat by the window. I sat heavily in her desk chair, heart aching. I just wanted my sister back. At the very least, I wanted to know what happened to her. The desk had a little cubby for books, still full of Leah's notebooks. I skimmed through them with my fingertips, reading the covers of each one. English comp, journalism, marketing, math, ew. That one made me smile. Only Leah would drag something like that into class. The last notebook's cover was blank. I pulled it out, curiosity getting the best of me. I flipped it open to a random page and was met with the lines of my sister's neat handwriting. My own name jumped out at me from the page. Naomi sent me a recording, a demo of her newest song. It was really good. I'm glad that she's still playing even with her classes. I'm pretty sure I haven't written something not school related since freshman year. Not counting this diary anyways, which I'm not really counting since I don't really plan on editing this thing. Anyways, I'm really proud of her. My eyes watered and I reached up to brush away the tears before they could land on the page and smear it. The notebook turned out to be half diary, half dream journal. I felt myself getting sucked in. No editing or not, Leah had a way with words, and even though it hurt, it always made me happy. I felt connected to her. I could almost always imagine her telling these stories, rolling her eyes as she recounted her stupid teacher or hiding her face in embarrassment as she talked about an embarrassing hookup. But then, about a month before she disappeared, the tone of the entries changed. That's really the best way I can describe it, and since I don't have my sister's way with words, I decided I'd transcribe what she wrote here. I'm not including every part of the entry, just the weird bits. May 30th. Last night's dream. I sat in a cottage, like something out of a fairy tale. A woman sat across from me. I don't remember all the details, but I remember that her hair was straight and so long and black it pooled to the floor. I remember the words we exchanged perfectly. She said, "Give me your name, child." And I told her, "Leah." She smiled, revealing teeth that seemed too white to be natural. "Leah," she said, like she was tasting it. "That will do nicely." For some reason, I woke up shivering. Then it tabs down as though she's written more down the page. Something really weird happened. We visited Grandpa today. His mind is barely there, you know, and when Mom walked into his room, he smiled and called her Mary. Now, he's called Mom every name under the sun at this point. Barbara, Denise, Sandra, whatever. She always takes it in stride. Sure, you can tell it hurts a little, but she knows he doesn't mean it. She always laughs it off and reminds him, "No, Dad, it's Gina, remember?" But she didn't do that this time. She stumbled back like he'd slapped her, and the tears welled up in her eyes. She had to rush from the room before she started sobbing. I tried to go after her, but Dad put a hand on my shoulder and told me that he'd take care of it, and that I shouldn't mention it to her when I got back. It left some kind of bad taste in my mouth. I don't know. May 31st. Last night's dream. I was walking through a forest. I could hear giggling and whispering all around me. At least half of the whispers were chanting my name almost mockingly. I kept feeling hands all over me, but no matter where I looked, I just couldn't see where they were coming from. June 3rd. Mom's been acting weird. Ever since the thing with Grandpa happened, she's been weird. Nervous, on the verge of tears. It feels like she's avoiding people. Avoiding me, at least. She walks out of the room whenever I walk into it. Dad won't tell me anything, so with nowhere else to turn, I decided to call in the big guns. I called Aunt Emily. Aunt Emily knows all the family gossip and can't resist sharing it at literally the slightest provocation. So I knew that if anybody would be able to tell me who Mary was, it would be her. She got really quiet as soon as I asked, though. "Where did you hear that name?" After I explained what happened, she sighed. "Your poor mother," she said. "Mary was her older sister. She went missing. Lord, it must have been decades ago by now. They were very close. Heartbreaking." I didn't know what to say. Mom always told us that she was an only child. I get not wanting to talk about something that was traumatic, but outright lying? I want to know more about this. June 5th. Last night's dream. I was back in the cottage again, except it didn't look exactly the same. Everything was really dusty, and the flowers in the center of the table had wilted. The woman sat across from me. "What do you think of our domain, child?" she asked. "Our?" I asked. This made her laugh. "Clever child," she said. "A question for a question. A shame you didn't think of that sooner, isn't that right, Leah?" She laughed. June 6th. Finally found something on Mary. Google had nothing, libraries had nothing, but eventually I remembered those commercials for that Ancestry website that's supposed to help you find new and old records of relatives and stuff. And I tried that. That actually turned something up. A small obituary for Mary Bennett. The obituary explained that while no evidence of Mary's death was ever found, after so many years with no leads or contact, the family has decided to declare her dead. The obituary was their attempt to move on. My heart sank reading that. I couldn't imagine how that must feel to lose someone and never get any closure. Is that why my mom lied? I wanted to understand, but I couldn't. If it had been Naomi, it would hurt to lose her. Hurt in a way that I can't even put into words. But I don't think I'd be able to pretend that she didn't exist. I'd have to keep her memory alive somehow. I don't know. I'm not judging or anything, or I'm not trying to, but I don't understand. June 8th. Last night's dream. The cottage, again. It was even worse than last time. There were cobwebs everywhere and it smelled sickly sweet like rotten fruit. Only the woman sitting across the table from me seemed unchanged. "What is this place?" I asked. "You're home soon enough," the woman replied. "Not that I think you'll have much time to spend in it. We have so much planned for you, Leah." From outside the window I heard laughter and the sounds of the forest. June 10th. I went back on the Ancestry website. I really don't know why. I just keep trying to wrap my head around all of this, I guess. But I'm left with more questions than answers. Grandma had an older sister that went missing too. And so did her mom. I don't know how far back this goes. Some of the records aren't there. But there are a lot of missing eldest daughters in our family tree. I want to believe it's a coincidence. I really, really do, but I don't know if I can. That dream I had a few nights ago in the cottage, I can still smell it. June 12th. Last night's dream. Back in the cottage, of course. "Why are you doing this?" I cried out. I wanted answers. I wanted something. The closure that my mom never got, maybe. "A debt as old as time, dear child," the woman replied. "Paid in the flesh of the firstborn." "I don't want to die," I cried. I'd never felt so hopeless. What little skepticism I managed to cling to during my waking hours disappeared entirely in these dreams. The woman smiled. A spider crawled across her face. "Who said anything about dying, Leah?" June 16th. The dreams come every night now. I can't bring myself to write them down. They're getting more solid. Before they felt like dreams, but not anymore. I can smell, taste, and touch everything I encounter. Sometimes it's like waking hours that feel like dreams. June 22nd. Naomi called today. I feel hopeless, utterly exhausted and drained, but talking to her still made me smile. If all of this is real, I'm glad that it's me and not her. I can't stop thinking about how excited she is to be a mother though, and I worry. That's all I have to say today. June 24th. She's coming tonight. I'm not ready, but I have to be. I can smell the rotting wood and hear laughter beyond the walls. This world seems insubstantial now. Like a sheer curtain hiding a world. I don't know. I just don't know what to say. I feel like I should have some last words or something, but I don't. I can't think of a single thing to say. I'm sorry. And that's all there was. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you that June 24th is the day she disappeared. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to believe that all of this is some sort of sick joke or something, but I don't know anyone who could be that cruel. I don't know how to end this. I guess this is how Leah must have felt. I'm just reeling and trying to make sense of all of this. I'd ask my parents, but I don't think they'd react well. If anyone has any idea what happened to my sister, please tell me. I just want to know. J.M. And that's the end of that story. Wow, that story is so incredibly chilling. As you guys know, on my channel, I'd actually done a video on a real life haunted doll named Joliet, and this doll had a lot to do with a ancestry curse / debt kind of thing, where these children that were being born generation after generation were being taken and then put into this doll. So things like this really do occur. I don't know what to think of that, you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Like, what do you think happened to her sister? Where do you think she is now? It's really strange that the woman said, "Who said anything about dying, Leah?" Which leads me to believe perhaps she's taken to another dimension or another realm, or I don't know. Please drop your comments down below and let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna be sitting on this story and then replying to a bunch of your comments because I don't know what to think of this at all, but you guys are the best at finding what stories mean, and so I'm gonna turn to you guys for this. Nonetheless, that story was chilling, and thank you guys so much for suggesting it to me. With that being said, that is it for today's video. If you are new to my channel or you are just not a subscriber but you do enjoy my videos, make sure you go ahead and click that subscribe button. I post a ton of videos. I am uploading every single day, so I don't want you guys to miss when I upload. And please give this video a big thumbs up if you did enjoy it, because it makes my heart super, super happy when you guys do that. So please do that. Remember, my loves, do all things with kindness. And until next time, I love you.